Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. So today we are heading over to Harley-Davidson of Scottsdale. So the next bike that I'm going to be hopping on here is the Fat Boy. And the reason why I want to hop on this one is because they just changed all of this design cue from that satin chrome to chrome, and I am not a chrome fan. But on the Fat Boy, you really have to be a chrome fan. I don't mean that from a position of like it's a bad thing. I'm saying that chrome belongs on this bike. So I am very happy that they made that change. I think it just makes it look more classic Fat Boy. And this motorcycle was on my short list back when I bought my 18 Heritage. And this does have the 114. I mean, it should be on everybody's short list. This thing is just classic Harley-Davidson. Beautiful styling. Ultimately, what had me go more towards the Heritage was having a windscreen. For me, riding to work all the time and higher speed type stuff, and that is kind of my big differentiator between a bike like this and then something with a windscreen, is that if you want to kind of cruise at, say, a super legal speed of like 85, 90 miles an hour, and you want to do that frequently, well, the windscreen certainly makes that much easier. And I'm happy that I went that route. But if I was more of a around town kind of guy and not super far distance riding, kind of like a bar hopper, then I would probably want to go more this route for sure, as a legit, I mean, you talk cruiser, that's what I envision cruising is, Friday, Saturday night, riding around the bar scene kind of thing. But this is exactly what I would buy for that. But the Heritage, which you see right next to me, is obviously that is my bike. This is it's really interesting that all these Softails having the same frame basically all feel very different. I mean, they're all very unique in their riding characteristics, for sure. And that fat back tire, I'm so used to my heel toe shifter on my Heritage that I put on it is not standard, that I automatically go for that rear stomp down to shift up kind of thing. It does take a second to remember that you don't have that. So man, that big fat tire does make it kind of harder to get this thing around a roundabout. But straight line riding, again, cruising is where this thing ultimately really shines. These bikes, though, I gotta say, this Softail frame is amazing. This thing rides so nice. That is why I ended up buying a new Softail, because I do love the feel of this Softail frame. It's amazing. The monoshock is more than capable of handling load, and also delivering just a super smooth ride. This Fat Boy, though, again, classic Harley styling, beautiful chrome. I am not a chrome fan, but on a bike like this, I would argue that it has to be chrome. So this is probably the only motorcycle that I would buy that is chromed out as it is. It's a very comfortable bike. This one is certainly also more up on the tank than what my Heritage is. It feels like a little more of an upright riding position. Yeah, these Fat Boy is definitely, like, as I'm watching the guy in front of me kind of throwing around that touring bike, the touring bikes are, as much as they're heavier with those skinnier tires, feel like they have a little more flickability. This, again, as a straight line city kind of cruising bike, I don't really know how you could possibly beat the Fat Boy in terms of turning heads, I suppose you'd say. But this 114, man, it is a monster. I absolutely love this thing. But yeah, so I'm not like a huge fat tire kind of guy. I think you sacrifice some handling quality that is it worth it? Again, it all depends. If you're going to just be honest with yourself and say like, hey, look, I'm just buying a bike that I'm going to take out on the weekends and be more of like a weekend warrior, not doing like a ton of like touring, and just more or less looking to hit the streets for fun on a weekend, this is where that would fall in line. But if I was doing any sort of large amount of riding, I would probably look towards something with a skinnier tire for the maneuverability. Now the other thing is fairing between non-fairing. There's a lot of argument to be had for having no fairing that like as of today, right now it's probably 75, maybe pushing 80 degrees outside. Having that air flowing through the air vents unobstructed is very nice. But when it gets to be about over 100, you actually start almost wanting to keep some of that air off of you, because it creates a bit of a heating effect where you're not really cooling yourself, you're actually just heating yourself more. And that's where I actually start to appreciate the windscreen a little bit more. There's times in Arizona when you're riding when it's 105, 110, 115, where if you get enough wind coming over you, you're actually not even sweating anymore, because like the sweat is drying the second that the air hits you, and you're really not even getting any cooling effect. So as gross as it sounds, and those types of days, I actually almost prefer getting a little bit of that wind off of me so that the sweat has a little more buildup, I guess. And then what little air you are getting is sort of helping to cool your body a little bit more. And whether it makes sense or not, I don't know. There's also guys out there that would say that when it's 115, they'd rather ride in a tank top and no helmet because the wind keeps them cooler. I am more like, hey, I'd rather cover myself up and get my skin out of that sun. That's also because I had a brief bout of some early stages of melanoma, and if I can keep myself out of the sun, I certainly will do that. So even if I wanted to be a cool dude and not ride with a helmet, I wouldn't do it just simply because of sun exposure. It's more of a medical thing for me than it is, you know, not that the safety thing isn't a big part of it, because it's pretty much most of it. But even if I wanted to, I wouldn't, because of the trying to kind of stay out of the sun if I can. But yeah, so this Fat Boy, guys, I don't know if you're into just having an around town you know, fun bike that turns heads, if you're into going to the bar and having a lucky lady throw her leg over at the end of the night on the bike, that is, and you know, have something to go out to the bars for that type of scene, I think the Fat Boy is absolutely the perfect machine to do that. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. See you guys next time.